If you really want to stop caring about what others think of you, please watch till the end. You see, this is called a shadow work. It was popularized by Carl Jung, and it means that facing everything that you don't like about yourself. It's about facing everything that you're trying to hide from others, that you are ashamed of. So, when we are facing all of these parts that we were suppressing that not consciously. It's a defense mechanism which stems from the inner critic, and the inner critic is coming from all the judgment that we faced as children in our family or in a society. For example, if the child is children in general are very expressive creatures, so it's very natural for them to share their feelings out loud and cry, to be very loud, and oftentimes in some societies it's perceived to be as bad, so they say, oh, stop crying, especially if the child is a boy. They say crying is not for boys. So what is happening? That boy is suppressing all of his feelings, like feel that his frustration, and altogether he's suppressing all the feelings in general, because you cannot just suppress only one feeling. If you're suppressing one feeling, it means that you're suppressing everything that you feel. So in adult life, the person who suppressed his feelings can face lots of difficulties in his relationships. And he's afraid of vulnerability because he's afraid of really expressing what he truly feels. Because when he was 5 years old, his mother, who was very strict, she said that it's a sign of weakness. So he doesn't want to be rejected by his woman again, because the woman whom he admires, who was the world for him, some time ago rejected because he was crying, and told him to not cry because he's a boy. So this is only one example. And so the shadow work is about facing everything that you are ashamed of, and also something that is perceived by the society as something bad. And in order to do that, take a pen and paper. I will give you a practical exercise. Think, what don't you want people to see in you? What is it about you that feels disappointing for you? And write it down. And already doing that will give you the awareness. And the awareness is the first step in order to heal whatever was denied, because we cannot deny the part of ourselves. They are not going anywhere. Okay, it's the first step. And the second step is just to see what did you write, and tell to yourself, I see all of these parts in me, and it's okay. If you want to go deeper, just take one of these things that you wrote, close your eyes, and imagine that part as a separate entity, as a separate being. I will give you an example to make it easier. For example, I couldn't face, I didn't feel comfortable with the fact that I was failing in my career. I put goals, and I was constantly failing in achieving those goals, and I felt as a failure. I felt myself like a fraud. If I thought, if I'm not achieving these goals, probably like I don't maybe have enough skills, or maybe something else. So in this case, I will just name it, I'm ashamed of the part of this self which is failing in career goals. So what I would do is to imagine that part as a separate being. There is a Saya who is failing, and here is me. By me, I'm representing a manager, someone who is beyond that, who can distance herself from all of these shameful parts and see and look at them from the distance. So what I'm doing next is I'm looking at her. So I'm imagining that she's sitting next to me, and I'm imagining her very vividly as a human being, as a person, and I can see that this part is constricted, like she's very sad and she's afraid. There is a lot of fear, and that fear is coming from the fear of being not accepted in the society. So this part believes that in order to be accepted in the society, you have to be high achiever. You have to be highly successful, and you have to own lots of houses, whatever. So she believes in that, and she is not achieving it, and it is impossible to achieve everything that she wants overnight. But she doesn't understand that. Um, so she believes that she is a failure. So what I'm doing next, when I clearly defined how does she look, let's say she looks very constricted, she is sad, um, she's she's holding her body like very tight. The next what I'm doing is I'm telling her, I see you, I see you, and I understand what are you going through. I'm giving her space. I'm giving, I'm validating her feelings, and I say that her feelings are valid, and I'm making sure that she feels seen. And next, I say that everything will be all right. I'm here. I'm going to protect you. I'm going to make sure that you'll be happy. That's it. You don't need anything else. Um, this was the part of parts work from which is also used in internal family systems. So what just happened is if there is shame, if there is a fear of judgment, it means that there are parts of you uh, who were denied, who weren't accepted by someone who who is an authority, usually from a caregiver. So what I'm doing, what I did right now is I gave space and love to the part that was denied, and I accepted that part. This is the huge part of self healing. This is also what I do with my clients. I help them to see all the parts that were not accepted, and what happens in the body if the parts are not accepted. The person feels fragmented, and it's very hard to live in the psyche which is fragmented. There is a constant internal conflict. So the healing happens when you start seeing all of these parts which you are ashamed of or which were suppressed, denied, and you start pouring the light on them, seeing them, accepting them, and slowly you become a whole. You start accepting yourself as a whole person. So when that happens, the voice of the critic is becoming less and less, and you start loving yourself, honoring, respecting yourself more, and automatically the judgment towards other people also reduces, and the fear of judgment also reduces because maybe you notice that people who are afraid of judgment, maybe you are noticing it in yourself, they usually are the ones who judge others too. And this is just a projection. I can explain why is it happening. There is no shame in judging. It's just a defense mechanism. If I judge someone, it means that I am putting a distance to that person in order to not face what I'm avoiding in myself. This is how it works. This is a mechanism. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have more questions, just leave the question below or text me a private message.